I was actually supposed to go get my cortisone shot, and that morning that I was supposed to go get it. Well, no, the day before, I couldn't stand on my legs, so the pain was so bad that my little brother and dad had to carry me to the car.
Wow.
I went to my parents' house, and then I was gonna drive. Well, we were gonna drive from there to go get the cortisone shot, and I didn't make it till the morning. It was in the morning, and at 2 a.m., like the pain was so bad that we had to call the ambulance.
Hi, everyone. It's me, CK, the creator and host of the podcast Bed, Back, and Beyond. Most likely, if you found my podcast, it's because you've injured your back or neck. I herniated a disc in 2019, and I will never forget the physical and emotional trauma that came with that injury. And that's why I created the Bed Back Beyond podcast. I wanted to give a one stop shop of positive recovery stories from serious neck or back injury to those of you in need. And this is where I would like to ask for your help. If I have been an encouragement to you in any way, would you consider hitting the subscribe or follow button? I would love to get this podcast out there more and in front of the eyes of those who need it.
You're listening to Bed, Back, and Beyond, sharing positive stories of recovery from serious back or neck injury. Your host is CK, who has read the book Wizard's First Rule 5 times. Our guest this episode just earned his master's degree from Fresno State, Francisco Contreras.
Hi, Cisco. Thank you so much for joining me on the Bed Back and Beyond podcast. Before we dive into your injury, I'd love to learn a little bit about you. Tell us any hobbies or just tell us about yourself.
Well, yeah, nice to meet you, CK. You've been a lot of help in your YouTube videos and features and whatnot. But yeah, so my name is Francisco. I usually go by Cisco. A lot of other nicknames too, like Frank and whatnot. But I mean, it's kind of what you prefer. But yeah, so that's me, and I'm currently I just finished school, so I'm currently a counselor, higher education. I also work like at a supplement store in the side and whatnot. And then I used to train people, but I mean, since my injury, this kind of fell off. I didn't feel comfortable, so then just kind of putting that aside. That was just more of a fun hobby.
Okay.
And yeah, that's pretty much a little bit about myself.
Where'd you go to school?
Fresno State.
And did you
hmm
say it was your master's program?
Yeah, so it was a master's program for higher education. So student affairs, higher education, school counseling. So yeah, that was fun. That was a little bit of a I guess hectic battle, right?
Yeah,
Going through school and
master's
that.
degree
hmm
and then injury on the same time.
hmm
Oh my goodness. So what's your aim with your degree? Higher education, do you mean high school or counseling for college?
Honestly, when I started it, I didn't really have like a all direct goal. I feel like where life takes me, where I start to feel more comfortable. Right now, I'm in a community college, so that's pretty comfortable.
Okay.
But I mean, high school would also be like interesting because I mean, it's a different population, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then there's always different groups of students. So there's like underrepresented groups, then there's general counseling,
Yeah.
then we have all these programs. So and then of course, if you do high school, it's like a whole different field, right?
Yeah. And are you doing academic counseling or are you doing mental health counseling?
Academic.
Wow, that's great. So then tell us, when did you get hurt?
I got hurt April April 2023. That's
Okay,
when
just last year.
that's when I was like, oh yeah, something's wrong with me, right?
Yeah.
But a couple months prior, I started having aches. You know, where you just kind of like can't find a comfortable position, but it's not like an issue yet because
Mhm.
you can still walk, you can still do like everything that you usually do. I think I started having issues when I couldn't ride my bike. I'm like, okay, I'm just riding my bike for like 5 minutes to go to school, and my lower back is killing me. That's not normal, right?
Mhm.
Um, so that's when I started having issues. But then I feel like it was like a domino effect when I started to look back, and then maybe all the sitting from the classes plus the internships, plus me wanting to like fit in a workout in the middle of all that.
Oh, okay.
Right? It's like your body
Yeah.
goes from sitting to drastically like doing intense exercises to going back to sitting, and then your body's like, okay, what are we doing? Are we staying stiff? Or are we um, bending? Right?
What kind of workouts were you doing?
I got more into like bodybuilding. So I was
Mm-hmm.
doing more like powerlifting, power building. It's like a new thing, I guess. I was
Okay.
trying to kind of fit in both, but I was trying to be strategic about it. But honestly, since I was so busy with the master's program, I didn't really have that much time to create a program. So I would just go in there and like hit
Rush.
anything, right? Hit anything. Yeah, it was fun, like in the aspect that like I feel like I was accomplishing a lot of things
Yeah.
until you start to feel burnout, and burnout is real, right?
Yeah.
Burnout is for sure a real thing, and mental health is something that needs to be incorporated, which was kind of hard at that
Mhm.
time. Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so you started getting some aches and pains, and then you started noticing when riding your bike, your lower back was hurting you. At any point, did you start getting pain down
Yes,
in your leg?
it was actually really scary because I think it was when in April when I think I went to the gym and I was doing like rack pulls, so almost like a deadlift, half a deadlift type of thing. But
Okay.
I didn't warm up. It was one of those rushed
Mhm.
workouts, right?
Mhm.
And then I just felt like a pinch, and I was like, okay, that didn't feel good. And told my friend, like I think that's it for today, right? And then I went home, and everything was all right. And then it was just kind of like bothering me in my left glute, and then it went on to my right glute, and then in the morning, what was crazy that I woke up and I went down to pick up my shoe and like put it on, and then I felt like a zap down my leg, and then
Uh,
that's the first time. But you don't know what it is. It's
right.
kind of like maybe it's like I need to stretch it because I did the mistake of just kind of stretching it. So I try to like
Uh,
actually like okay, if I feel more, maybe it's a good thing. And then I
yeah.
was like doing nerve glides all opposite, like reverse nerve glides or something, but I think I was
Yeah.
making worse
Yeah.
because I felt it all the way to my neck, um,
Oh, geez.
right? So just
Yeah.
doing this, I felt it like to my foot, and it was
Uh,
really uncomfortable.
yeah.
And then I don't know how to position myself, and then after that, I still had my internships to go to, so I still went that day, but then the next day I called out because yeah, I couldn't bear sitting down like for more than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it was kind of a lot of pressure just because I didn't think that this would take that long, right? I thought, oh, in 2 weeks, this is gonna go down like any other injury.
Yeah. Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would for years before my injury, I would throw my back out.
Mm-hmm.
And normally that takes about 3 weeks to resolve, and then it's gone. And when my herniated disc domino, like you said, started, it started like I threw my back out, but then 4, 5, 6 weeks later, that pain was still in my back, and then it slowly moved to my glute.
Mm.
And then I was self-diagnosing, like doing a piriformis
All
muscle
right,
with a tennis ball under your
true.
glute.
Making it worse, huh?
Yeah,
So whenever you said you threw out your back, you never felt it down your leg until the last time?
right, right.
Oh, okay.
It was always just a muscular thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when it became scary, huh?
Yeah. So your pain started in April. Did you have a moment when it was like, "This is so severe that I can't
Ye-
even get off the floor"?
Yeah, I think it was until my ego started dropping a little bit because I was like, nah, I could muscle through it. I could toughen it
Yeah.
out. Um, it's a lot of mental health that goes into it whenever it starts kind of affecting your mornings, right? Your mornings, your
Yeah.
nights, because that's when like you're away from everyone, you're by yourself, and you're like, okay, just going to the restroom is tough, and
Yeah.
that's when it started to affect me. Because actually didn't stop working out. I hurt myself in April, but I was still working out April, May, June, all those the whole months.
Oh,
So
wow.
I was just going to the gym, and it felt good as I guess warmed up, put more
Right.
blood flow through my body and whatnot. So it felt kind of mildly okay, but I think towards the night is when the inflammation would just kind of rise.
Okay.
So I think I had to talk with my mom, and then we were like, okay, you know what, I do need to have like a reevaluation of what I'm doing. And I remember I was going to the chiropractor actually, and I think they were
Okay.
making it worse for
Oh,
me.
really? Yeah.
It's I feel like because I was not really diagnosed. I went to my doctor, and you know how it takes a whole process to get an MRI.
Oh, yeah.
So no one really knew what it was. I went to the chiropractor, and then he kept on telling me that it was like an SI joint issue because I was like, it hurts like, and it was L5 S1, right? So it's
Mhm.
really low.
Yeah.
So I was just pointing at it, and he was like, oh yeah, that's the SI joint, and I was like, okay, could you do some tests? I don't really know anything
Yeah.
about this. And yeah, it was kind of tough because I think I didn't really trust the sources yet, like of, oh, it's definitely this. I feel like the MRI was something that I like wanted, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I think from there I went on to kind of just manage it on my own. But you know what's crazy? That when I actually stopped working out, it's when everything got worse. Like
Oh.
even though I was working out and it was hurting, like and everything, but I feel like once my body stopped moving, I
Mhm.
feel like everything tensed up. The inflammation was actually higher because whenever I officially injured myself, I was still lifting like 300 pounds. I
Uh-huh.
was kind of just muscling through it, right? I was still shoulder pressing 80 pounds, so like all the pressure on my shoulders, right?
Yeah.
So it was a lot. But then once I stopped working out, it might have been mental too, like right, like maybe I gave up mentally,
Yeah,
maybe
possibly.
mentally, and then physically, my body was like, okay, we're just gonna shut down, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, because then when I stopped working out, I remember 2 weeks later, I woke up and that's when I told you like I couldn't even lift like a water bottle to go on my daily walks because it hurt. So I would have to go walk and then come back to drink water because I need to like warm up, I guess.
Mhm. So did you end up needing to go to the hospital?
Yeah,
Or were
so
you okay,
I actually went to the ER in
okay.
July once because the pain was so bad. Um, so they actually got me an MRI, which was, yeah,
Oh,
I'm
right
very
then and there?
fortunate, right? So
Yeah.
I was fortunate that that hospital like
Yeah, that's
provided
nice.
that. Hmm.
Yeah, I was in the ER and they were like, "You need to go get an MRI," and I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks later
Oh
before
wow.
I got my MRI.
That the hospital didn't provide it like right there and then?
Nope.
Oh wow.
No.
Okay. Yeah, so whenever I got the MRI, they did a couple other tests and they said everything was fine. They said the only thing was a herniated disc,
Okay.
which was I think 220 millimeters. So
What?
2 centimeters, right?
You've now have the, highest record on the podcast.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh no. That was insane.
Yeah, 18 millimeters was, my other interview,
Oh,
and I think
okay.
that was the biggest so far.
I think that shocked me a lot because I was getting
Yeah.
better. I was kind of managing. It was starting to feel a little bit better, but maybe when I read that, it was like it hit me. It hit me like a
Yeah.
bus. Hmm.
Yeah. Uh, Other people have said that they try not to think about the image of the MRI because they feel like when they see it in their brain that the pain
Hmm.
hurts more. Did you have any of what they called like the red flag symptoms?
At first, no. At first, I could walk, I could do everything, but then, like I told you, as I backed off a lot of physical activities,
Yeah.
it actually started to worsen. And they told me that because they told me to go to one of those pain management doctors, right? They referred me over there.
Yeah.
I went over there, and then before they even gave me like any diagnosis, and when they read my MRI report, and they're like, "No, you need surgery. You,
Oh,
you need
okay.
to go get surgery right now." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And then she was like really concerned, and she was like, "No,
Oh,
you're really young. This is too big. Like, there's no way. Like, the injections are gonna help." And then honestly, I got kind of upset because you go on the internet and you're like, "Oh, people beat this naturally, right?"
yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, I really thought I could like."
Not with 20 millimeters.
Yeah, because it didn't feel real. It didn't feel real, like
Yeah.
someone telling me that I needed surgery,
Yeah.
right?
Right. And you know, you're an athletic guy, you're
Mhm,
doing these big lifts. I understand why it was a little defeating.
mhm. I
Yeah.
think I think more of that. Like it was like, okay, my whole identity revolved around this whole person, and now I need to like just switch it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just thought, okay, if I do surgery, then I looked up all the like side effects and all the possible things that could go wrong,
That's the worst thing
and
you can do.
right?
Yeah.
On all
Don't
the
Google.
Reddit posts, the
Yeah.
Facebook groups.
Yeah.
There's some good ones, but then there's some people that, okay, yeah, I need to back
Yeah.
off a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
then I started going on YouTube, and what's funny is that like I searched everywhere and I couldn't find that much videos, not that
Yeah.
much people like sharing their stories. I feel like it's maybe a trend. Like more people started posting, right? Like more people
Yeah.
started getting motivated to post,
Yeah.
to share their stories.
I did the same thing. Once I learned it was a herniated disc and surgery was my next step, I was right onto YouTube hoping to find, people. There's a lot of doctors' offices that post their stories, but I don't wanna hear from them. I wanna hear actual people's, stories. So, that's why I created the podcast because I wanted to do, like, a one-stop shop of positive stories.
Yeah, honestly, props to you, CK. Yeah, I appreciate the whole. I feel like you had a great idea because,
Oh,
how you
thanks.
said, people don't have to keep on searching. I mean, they could just kind of scroll down, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
And I
So,
actually have some other people I met through social media that I could even refer to, like,
oh, do it. I need more guests.
for sure. Their stories were pretty cool too.
Yeah, good.
Mhm.
Once you got your MRI and they said, "We can't help you with a cortisone and shot," which it saved you some money, by the way. The
Mm,
cortisone injections seem to wear off after a couple weeks, and then some people get 2 or 3 and still need surgery, so I think,
mhm.
you got saved from that a little bit. Um, how long was it between finding out you need surgery and when you got surgery?
Oh, okay. I think that was in July, right?
Yes.
Um, and then I was waiting. They told me to go to physical therapy. It was
Okay.
insane because of the medical system. I mean, maybe my insurance, but they didn't have appointments till like September for physical therapy,
What?
right? That was
Yeah.
insane. And what I did, well, because I used to train people, and I feel like I have a good knowledge on fitness and whatnot, so I started to do my own research. I kind of I feel like I did a whole class on herniated discs, like of how much research, how much articles I read.
Yeah.
But I was trying to figure out, okay, what's like the safe way? Of course, the McKenzie method. Then you have the McGill.
Right.
I got all the books.
Yeah.
I was listening to a lot of podcasts, and then you learn about like flexion, extension,
Yes.
intolerance, and how some people they feel more comfortable kind of bending over, and then some people feel more comfortable like the other way. And my coworker actually got a herniated discs prior as well, and he mentioned that he felt more comfortable sitting down, and for me, like sitting down was a no go. So
Yeah. Yeah, I
that's
couldn't
when
sit.
I started getting I felt happy I was actually learning, but I was getting more overwhelmed because now I was like, okay, that means like it's literally everything that's out there is like a 50-50 chance, right? That's gonna
Right.
work on me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
Did
have to
you
trial and error everything.
did you find the Bob and Brad
Oh
physical
yeah.
therapist?
Oh yeah, that was fun.
I
Uh,
s I sucked up as much as their content as I could and was trying to do some stuff on my own before.
yeah, put it on double speed because I was like, yeah, these are too much videos. I need to just absorb it.
Yeah. So, okay, wow. So July, you need surgery,
Mhm.
but September, so did you wait until September to start your physical therapy?
Actually, okay, so I never actually started physical therapy.
Okay.
It was I went to an evaluation where it was their
Mhm.
first one, and then
Yeah.
they did the evaluation, and they were gonna create the whole program and whatnot. And I think that was the first week of September,
Mhm.
and I was supposed to go get my cortisone shot 2 weeks after that. And what's crazy is that I'm a religious person, right? So I feel like everything happens for a reason,
Yep.
and I feel like God really looks out for me
Yeah.
and for everyone and whatnot. So I feel like it kind of
Amen.
lined up, right?
Yep.
So I would just pray, and I would just kind of like have faith that everything was gonna work out. And it's kind of like a mental space that you got to get into. It's really
Yeah.
difficult having faith and like also being positive, and then I feel like I'm appreciative towards people that try to help me, but at the same time, it's a lot of toxic positivity where
Mhm.
like they think that this mental health issue is because of my thoughts, but in reality the injuries is dictating a lot of it, right?
Yeah.
um like if I just got stripped away from this pain, I feel like, I mean, there wouldn't be issue.
Right.
So that's what I thought, and it was just kind of like something that I battled through a lot. And you know I was just kept on praying, but everything kept on falling into place.
Yeah.
Like I got a job. I was grateful for that, but then I was struggling a little bit because sitting down, standing up, right? So that was really painful. But I was able to manage through it with a couple different things going on. And then I was actually supposed to go get my cortisone shot, and that morning that I was supposed to go get it. Well, no, the day before, I couldn't stand on my legs. So the pain was so bad that my little brother and dad had to carry me to the car.
Wow.
So I live an hour away from where my doctor was. Um, so I went to my parents' house, and then I was gonna drive. Well, we were gonna drive from there to go get the cortisone shot, and I didn't make it till the morning. It was in the morning, and at 2 a.m., like the pain was so bad that we had to call the ambulance because
Wow.
it was just getting worse. I couldn't find a
Yeah.
position, and it would just, instead of my right leg, it was both legs. So now it was both legs. Now I couldn't move, and my whole back was spasming.
Oh my goodness.
Um, and then my legs started feeling numb, and
Mhm.
those are red flags. So like my mom called the ambulance right away. They
Yeah.
took me to the hospital, and then right there they give me a lot of drugs. They give me morphine, oxycontin. It was crazy because none of those were working, so they gave me a little bit of fentanyl.
Oh my goodness.
Right? That's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
So I was like in a different headspace because of the drugs, but
Mhm.
my body was still in pain. So I was like literally just still tweaking a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Um, which was kind of weird because I didn't know what to think because it wasn't like pain anymore, but I was out. The pain's under there. Like once this wears off, it's there. Um, so they did another test. The good thing, I mean, some hope for people out there is that my herniated disc did shrink actually. So it went from 20 to 12.
Oh, wow.
So that's a good amount, right?
That's huge. Yeah.
hmm So almost by half. But if you think about it, 12 is still pretty big.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was happy, but then I was like, ah, dang, like this is right.
Yeah.
This means that like if it's going that the rate that it is, if I do it naturally, like if I could, it's gonna take a couple more months, right? A lot of months.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and I don't know if I can make it that long because that's a
R
lot of pain.
right.
And then after that, that's when I went in Monday. They admitted me because I still couldn't get up, and then the surgeons kept on coming in and out, evaluating me, and it was just getting worse. My legs were going numb. I started not to feel my legs, and my whole lower body. And then
Yeah.
that's when the surgeons were like, "Well, we're gonna have to do surgery." And I was like, "Well, honestly, at this point, I'm happy for that, right?"
Yeah,
Because
do it. Yeah.
they told me like it was a bad thing, but then I was like, "Yeah, just give it to me."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, get rid of this pain.
hmm So it was
Okay.
Monday, and then I didn't get approved for surgery till Wednesday, and then they went ahead and uh, went through the whole process Wednesday night, and then I got it on Thursday.
Wow. So Thursday of what month?
Thursday of September, like mid-September.
Oh, so
So
you're
that's when everything happened.
what are you, 4 months out then?
Yeah, 4 months and a
Uh,
half. hmm
and did you have to stay in the hospital overnight or were you able to come home?
Yeah, I got it Thursday night, right? So I woke up Friday, but I didn't leave till Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Good.
I guess my symptoms were so severe prior that they wanted to make sure that there was no like
Yeah.
significant nerve damage and whatnot. I still felt sciatica like crazy, which I was so scared
Yeah.
because they told me that like, okay, whatever you feel right now, the nerves are the slowest thing to recover, so it's gonna take some time, but
Yeah.
we don't know what's permanent and what's not. So I was just kind of like praying at that point because my nerves were still kind of inflamed, so I couldn't sit down still. My
Ugh,
back didn't hurt anymore, right? But every time I sat down, like my sciatica like flared up.
yeah.
And
So were you thinking the surgery didn't work or were you prepared for it to
honestly,
still
at that point, I was like really, really neutral. I was trying not to have any original thoughts. I was just kind of
okay.
praying.
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, okay, just be empty right now. Just every
Yeah.
time my parents or someone comes in, just kind of listen to them. Don't really have your original thoughts because I feel like then if I start original thought, it's gonna start to spiral down, right?
Yeah, that's true.
hmm
Yeah,
So
it's a
honestly,
very much a mental game.
hmm so at that point, it was just kind of leaning on the support, right? The support
Yeah.
system that I had.
And how did your recovery go? Was it full of flares and step backwards, or was it pretty even kill?
I got scared because I watched your podcast and I watched some other people's videos, and then a lot of people have flare ups, right?
Yeah.
I actually only had one flare up where my right leg got numb, fully numb, but it was only like for an hour.
Mhm.
Um, but I took it really, really, really serious. Like I went to my mom's. My mom took care of me. I'm so thankful
Nice.
to my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did
Shout out,
everything for
mom.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, she cooked for me. Kind of
Mhm.
did everything for me, right? So she even bought one of those little recliner chairs where I could
Oh,
just be instead of being in my room all day, I would just kind of come to the living room to hang
oh, that's
out.
nice. Oh,
Um, so my walker was my savior.
yeah.
So I used my walker for like 3 weeks, and then the fourth week I got my first flare up. And then I was, oh, what did I do wrong? And I think I just walked too much because
Right.
even walking is a lot, right?
Yeah. Yeah, just moving again, I think,
Mhm.
can trigger inflammation. And it's funny how far out inflammation can happen.
True.
Mhm.
And how long it could stay in, right? Like
Right.
it kind of affects everyone differently, and then every day, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what happened, and we have a like mid-sized backyard, so yeah, I would just go in the backyard and kind of go in circles, right? Just walk.
Yeah.
So Yeah, that was my life for a couple weeks. Yeah.
What's your pain level at now?
I actually have no pain,
Great.
which is pretty. I'm so grateful for that. The only thing is that I do wake up a little bit achy.
Yeah.
You can feel the difference, right? You can feel the
Hmm.
difference between that and like how you used to feel. So, I mean, this is kind of nothing compared to what I used to feel.
Right.
And then I have my own routine now, so I make sure I walk in the treadmill for like 20 minutes,
Hmm.
and then I go ahead and do like my the McGill the big McGill Big Three, I think that's what
Yeah.
they're called. And then I do like my own mobility work where it's like hip switches and like some other things to like open up your hips and your lower body and whatnot. But I'm really careful. But I'm
Yeah.
gradually like progressing,
Yeah.
so it's helping a lot. I feel like movement. What's that quote? Motion is lotion. Yeah, motion is lotion, right? So just keep
Are you?
moving, right?
Yeah. Are you going to see a physical therapist, do you think? Or are you just going to
Um,
do it on your own?
So I actually started physical therapy, but the only
Okay.
thing is that maybe because my physical therapy, the center I'm going to is not like for athletes, it's just kind of to return to normal.
Okay.
Um, so what they gave me, I feel like I'm already doing.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm still gonna go just kind of to pick at their brains to see like if they could like add something to it. But I feel
Hmm.
like in reality, you gotta be the one that puts in the work, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of like 24/7 thing right
Yeah.
now, right?
Hmm. I'm 4.5 years after my surgery,
Oh, nice.
and my personal workout routine will just wax and wane. I'll be real disciplined for a while, and then it
Mm.
drops off. And whenever I stop exercising, my back will go back to being stiff and achy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's a nice reminder how important exercise and muscle strength, like not just back strength, but
Mhm.
supporting muscles, your glutes and your abs.
And joint mobility, right? I feel like
Yeah,
if you don't move your joints, you don't move them, you're gonna lose them, right? You're
right.
gonna
Yeah,
start to like feel all stiff. And CK, I remember last time on your previous podcast, you mentioned that they weren't able to take all your disc out, right?
yeah,
Or your
yeah.
the extra excess disc out. So is that still like a big issue right now, or what's
It's
the
not
whole
a big
situation?
issue. It's
Mm,
so there's a piece of my disc is stuck to my spinal cord. So
okay.
technically, I'm still pinched.
Mm,
There is they did put a hole in the bone so that my nerve can move freely.
oh, okay.
So most of the time, I would say like 90% of the time, I am pain free. My leg is still numb. The numbness never went away. I mean, it's like
Mm,
slightly numb. So there's that slight, is it going to fall asleep feeling
oh,
constantly.
okay.
Um, the only time it becomes an issue is when I overdo it. If I had like a really bad day at work, or if I did some heavy lifting and my back muscles tighten up, that'll
Mm,
cause a flare of my sciatic nerve.
okay.
And it's only, I'll have to lay down and use a heating pad. So as far as like pain scale goes, I would probably say a 4,
Okay.
maybe a
Manageable.
manageable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, noticeable. I can still do stuff, but I definitely need to take take something and use a heating pad to relax for a while.
Have you ever
Yeah.
tried like one of those TENS units?
I do have one of those. Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that became my
Just
best friend.
yeah. When I got hurt, there was someone at my church. We were in Delaware at that point, who had just had the surgery the year before, and he was a young, athletic guy like you. And he sent me to his doctor's office, but they also had this really nice TENS unit
Oh, nice.
that they gave to me, and I still have. So it was very nice to have.
True. I get one to my mom for Christmas, and because she has like knee arthritis going on type of thing, so it helps
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Um, but I just tell her like you gotta keep moving. Like that's
Yeah.
one thing for sure,
Yeah.
especially in this cold, right?
Yeah, definitely. Where are you located, by the way? What state are you in?
California.
Oh, okay.
What about you?
I'm in Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. What
Well,
part of California?
towards the Fresno area.
Okay.
Fresno, originally from Visalia area,
Okay.
so kind of over here.
Yeah. Um, is there anything that you have or purchased for post surgery that has been a huge help to you besides the TENS unit?
Oh yeah, so I got the grabber.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I was thinking how you said grab the grabber for a grabber, right? But then I was like, I have enough help where I could
Right.
just call someone. So I got the grabber. I actually got a standing desk. Um,
Mhm.
I got two. So I got like a machine one, like
Okay.
the one that. But then I was like, this is really big. I don't think I don't like it's really big, right? So I think in my office is gonna look a little funky. So I bought a smaller one off of Amazon, but it was used already, so it was like $30. So it was pretty
Okay.
cool. So I got that. Um, I got a lot of lumbar support pillows, like different ones. I got like one of those round ones. Then I'm on one right now that
Uh-huh.
is kind of like a seat type of thing.
Yeah.
Um, I mean the recliner. Well, this is not post surgery, but I don't know if you see over there. That's like an
Of
what's
the
it called?
table,
The
the
inversion
inversion
table.
table?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that helped a lot. The first days you got to know how to use it though, because if you just jump on it,
Uh-huh.
it's gonna be too aggressive, right?
Yeah.
But the tens unit for sure. Oh, the body pillow. The body pillow is a must. I feel like
Yeah.
the way you sleep is like 90% of how you're gonna feel, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I wish I
um,
had my body pillow next to me because my husband, I like to look at Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
uh-huh.
So he got me a pillow cover, and it's just like the Rock.
Oh, for real? Oh, that's
Yeah.
fun. Oh, that's nice.
So
Is it
that's what
like
I'm
a whole? Is it just like a square pillow, or is it actually like like
it's the body length.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
nice.
So
Oh, that's fun.
full length picture of
Cuddle
The Rock
buddy.
on my body pillow.
There you go. The interesting thing, actually, like for some reason, I don't know, maybe I was trying to get inspiration, but I searched up like famous people that I look up to. Like Dwayne, he had like three ruptured discs,
I know, I wanna get him
right?
on the podcast.
That would be pretty dope, right? And
Yeah.
you'd be surprised. A lot of famous actors, like famous athletes, they got herniated discs.
Yeah. Tiger
Uh,
Woods, he went, he herniated a disc and then continued to play golf.
yeah, his was pretty scary. I think his was the reason I was kind of skeptical, just because I mean, he has a lot of money, he has a support, right? He has probably the whole team, but they still, I mean, humans aren't perfect, so
Yeah.
they kind of had to redo it a couple times. So I
Yeah.
was like, it doesn't really matter where you go to. It's like you
Yeah.
just gotta.
Do you remember when Kevin Hart got in his car accident?
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really bad car accident. So his accident happened at the same time as my herniated disc.
Oh wow.
And then I was out for just all different circumstances. I was out of work for 6 months because of
Mm-hmm.
just different things. And one of my coworkers came to me and said, "Kevin Hart's better already. How come you're not back to
Oh
work?"
no.
Like he's a celebrity and
True.
has personal trainers coming to his home every day.
And then they probably got like how you could pay for like the stem cells and like all
Yeah.
the other fancy stuff that might or
Who
might
knows?
not work, but I
Yeah.
mean, right? They got money to spill, so
Right.
so for
So
sure.
back to you.
Mhm.
So how did this affect your schooling? I mean, in your master's program, did
Well,
it delay your class at all?
luckily it was only in the last couple months. And like I told you, I believe in God a lot, so I feel like He lined everything up for me because for some reason all my professors started like saying it's okay if we just do it online. I don't know if they got lazy, but they were like, um, so I don't even remember struggling that much in class because I think that's when they were starting to say, you know what, let's just meet online. Let's just kind of wrap it up. And
Oh, wow.
so that was really, I was really grateful for that. The only hard part was the whole work thing, right? And I mean, the whole working out was kind of a tough one. I'm also in a fraternity, so I was trying to be still involved in that, which was kind of hard because, it was like, oh, my back feels this way, and there's this event going on, and
Right.
um, I started to measure how much I do. You know how you said if you do too much one day, the inflammation is gonna be there the next day.
Yeah.
Um, so I started to measure how much I do, and it started to become a little bit. I mean, a little bit annoying in my head because I couldn't even fold my clothes because that was gonna be a lot for the next day, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that's when it started to kind of affect me. But as far as schooling, it wasn't really that bad. It was um, just kind of till the end. So I think that's when the gap happened.
Yeah. And you said you had to walk out of your graduation for a little bit, is that right?
Yeah, so I kept on, going to the restroom, but it was just to walk. And then yeah, I remember I was in my seat and I kept on like fidgeting, and then everyone was walking out, like, which was, people saw as rude, but then I was like, yeah, I'm actually doing it for a
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
um but then what's funny is that, like, I walked out, yes, I was walking, but I got lost, so I ended up leaving at the same time as everyone else because I was like lost in around the
Uh,
facility. So it was kind of the same thing, but I
yeah.
mean, at least I got to walk in, right?
Yeah. Did you walk up for your diploma?
Yeah, so I still got
Okay,
that,
good.
so
That's good. Yeah.
it was barely on time, huh?
Oh my goodness. That's great. Well, I'm glad to hear that you are feeling better and that you're on the mend.
Yeah.
Any big plans that you have?
um I think right now it's just like gradually progressing, right? It's like
Yeah.
you become so grateful for like just being able to like do normal stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to keep that enhanced because I don't want to lose that, because right away, like 2 3 months after my surgery, it was like really really enhanced, where even just walking on your own, right? I started to become a little bit more aware of like different conditions relating to nerves, the spinal nerves, like multiple sclerosis, and like
Mhm.
some other nerve issues, right?
Yeah.
um and yeah, so I feel like we got to be grateful, and I mean, reach out to people like you're doing. So I feel like
Yeah.
this, like, what you're doing is really awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, it should be like, maybe reach out to a lot of people with like nerve stuff, right, going on.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would be pretty dope. um but I think that's one thing for sure I'm trying to kind of keep in my head. But at the same time, I want to progress in my career,
Yeah.
but then I'm also saying, okay, like, how do I not put too much? Because my mind probably could, but what about my body, right? It's like
Yeah.
progressive. So I think it's just a matter of faith and like hard work and,
Yeah.
I guess, balance, right?
Yeah. And listening to your body
Yeah, facts.
when it tells you, "Hey, slow down," you have to do that.
True. Because
Yeah.
I was more of a, like, I was a David Goggins fan. I still am, but I would, just muscle through it type of thing. And
Yeah.
you could mentally muscle through it. I guess only your mind muscle, but like your
Yeah.
physical one, sometimes, yeah, the body's gonna put you on a stop, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I think your, faith outlook to life will help you get to the point where you can say, "Wow, thank you for this herniated disc," because you will see some blessings or how you can be a blessing to other people because of it.
True. True.
Yeah.
Like, it does. I feel like, I mean, depends how we look at it, but for me, for you, from the looks of like your conversations, I feel like it makes you more empathetic, right?
Mhm.
More
Definitely.
like, in every conversation, I feel like I really try to put myself in everyone's shoes.
Yeah.
And then one thing I became aware about, a little bit more, is like a disability is not always seen, right? A disability, like, sometimes you might be able to stand up, sometimes you might be able to like not sit down, sometimes you might not be able to walk, and I feel like a lot of people like don't overlook that, right? It's
Yeah.
like, oh, that person looks better. How come? It's like, well, it's just different that day, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the thing's still there. So I feel like that's one thing for sure.
Yeah. Well, Cisco, I wanna thank you so much for being willing to be on the podcast and share your story. Really hope your recovery continues to go well and that your career goes and, things just work out the way you would like them.
Mhm. Yeah, CK, well, thank you for having me on your show. What's this show called again?
Bed back
Oh
and
yeah, Bed
beyond.
Back and Beyond. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was a catchy one. Yeah.
My husband thought of that.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
I
you
just
go.
hope I don't get slapped with a cease and a desist from,
Oh, it's
that
fine.
other store, you know?
Just
Yeah.
create a cool different logo, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe add
Uh
some little things on it.
And if you are a listener who has a positive story of recovery that you would like to share, I would love to include your voice amongst the positive story to give hope to those who are currently in pain. Head over to bedbackbeyond.com and click share your story. Once again, Cisco, thank you so much.